So here's what we have. I don't have a bracket to fill it up with, but I'll make my prediction straight up. So when we look at the FIDE World Cup, it's the final 16 players remaining in the field. The first matchup is between Swain and Sindarov. Swain on a dream run from Germany, as they say, alles über Deutschland. The Germans have been playing very well in this tournament. There have been many upsets. You see Swain beat Gukesh Domaraju, the current world champion. We also have another German player who we'll talk about a little bit later who's caused several big upsets as well. But we have Swain playing against Yavukir Sindarov here. When I look at this, when I look at this matchup, I'm going to be honest. Sindarov is a very underrated player. I would say I think he's sort of overshadowed because he's from Uzbekistan, and there's another Uzbeki by the name of Norbek Abdusatorov, who has been as high as number 5 in the world. So I think Sindarov's been a little bit overshadowed, but my prediction is that Sindarov is going to win this match. And the main reason I predict Sindarov to win, I think he's better in classical. I think he's definitely better in rapid. I think he's also better in blitz. So when I look across the board, I feel like Swain's only chance to win this match is in classical chess. So I have to go with what I believe to be the correct result. And I think that Sindarov is going to win this match. So I think Sindarov is going to win this match. Then we have one of the Cinderella story matches. We have the match versus Pentala Harikrishna and Jose Martinez Alcantara from Peru. Now, this is also a big match. Neither of these players probably thought they would be in this situation. The winner of this match is going to be in the semifinals of the World Cup with a chance to play in the candidates. So this is a very big matchup. Now, I'm going to be honest, as much as I like Jose Martinez and as hot as he has been, I think for Pentala Harikrishna, this is a dream matchup. Harikrishna is somebody who's very positionally sound. He is another player that I have a great affinity for because he's someone who's playing in a lot of the youth tournaments at the same time I was, someone that I know very well, but also someone who's pretty much retired from professional chess as well. So I've got to support my fellow retiree in Harikrishna in this match. Also, because I think stylistically it's a really good matchup. He's very solid. He's somebody who knows how to grind. He's very good at exploiting bad openings or dubious openings. So for me, when I look at this matchup, I'm going to go with Harikrishna. I do think that if this gets into rapid or blitz though, Jose's chances, it becomes very close to a 50-50 toss-up. Harikrishna, I believe, is 39. I think he moved from India to, was it Croatia or Serbia? I forget where he moved to. He has a couple of kids. He's enjoying life. So he's someone around my age. I think if this gets to tiebreakers, Jose maybe becomes a slight favorite, but I think Harikrishna is going to win this in regulation is my prediction. I think Harikrishna is going to win this in regulation. So that's why I'm going to go with Harikrishna. But if it gets to rapid or blitz, all bets are off. Jose probably becomes a favorite if it gets there. So for Jose, as long as he doesn't lose in regulation, he will have great chances. But I think Harikrishna is going to win this match. So I'm going to predict that Harikrishna wins this match. This means they will play in the next round, which I'll get to in a second. We have Norbek Yakubov versus Gabriel Sargsyan, another Uzbeki player here. Again, another one overshadowed by Norbek Abdusatorov, but this, of course, is his good brother, Norbek Yakubov. I think that when I look at this matchup, I mean, Sargsyan's had a great run. He's a very strong player, but based on how strong and how sharp and tactical Norbek Yakubov is, and the fact that he is a good rapid and blitz player, I'm going to go with Yakubov, and I think he's a big favorite in all the time controls. So I'm going to predict that Norbek Yakubov wins. And then we have the final match with this top half between Le Quang Liam from Vietnam and Alexander Donchenko. Now, Alexander Donchenko has caused some big upsets in this tournament. He beat Matthias Bluebaum, his fellow German, last round. Not maybe as big of an upset, but it was an upset. He, of course, beat, if we go back, he beat Anish Giri from the Netherlands. That was the big upset that he caused. Huge win for Donchenko in that match. Let me scroll over. So yeah, he beat David Anton, Anish Giri, and Matthias Bluebaum. So 2 big upsets in a row for Donchenko. He's riding a big wave. People might also remember that in the St. Louis Cup, or whatever they called it at the end of last year, he also beat Fabiano Caruana in the final round. Fabiano still qualified for the candidates, but he did beat him to tie for first place. So big matchup. Le Quang Liam, of course, perennial top 20, top 15 player, someone who, much like Pentala Harikrishna and Hikaru Nakamura, is semi-retired from the game of chess. These days, Le Quang Liam is a coach, I believe, at Webster University in St. Louis, Missouri. He still plays here or there, but not what I would classify as a professional player anymore either, but still an extremely strong player. And he, of course, gave me a great fight in the Speed Chess Championship about 2 weeks ago. So in this match, I've got to go with Lukwang Liam, just based on the fact Lukwang Liam, I think he won a World Rapid or a World Blitz many years ago. Perennial 2740 player, great fundamental openings. I don't see Donchenko winning. I think the Cinderella run for Donchenko ends here against Lukwang. So I'm predicting Lukwang Liam to move on to the next round. So then we move to the bottom half, the bottom half of the 8 players. We have Daniil Dubov versus Samuel Shanklin. This is a matchup, I'll be frank, this is in my view one of the easiest matchups to predict, where for Shanklin, he has to go all in regulation. Shanklin has to win in regulation. If this match gets to tiebreakers, Dubov is a favorite. Frankly, I think in rapid chess, Dubov is probably better than anyone else left in the field. If I just scroll through, I mean, Arjun and Levon are right up there, but I mean, Dubov by no means would be an underdog against either of those players. So for Shanklin, if he wants to win this match, he is going to have to do something special in classical chess to win it. I don't see any world where Shanklin is going to win this in tie breaks. To me, I don't see it. Dubov is extremely solid. He's a very tough player to beat in regular games. I played him in 2019 in the FIDE Grand Prix in Moscow, shortly before I retired from chess. I did end up beating Dubov in a rapid tiebreaker, but he's a very tough customer. So for Shanklin, he's got to win in classical chess. If Shanklin doesn't win in classical chess, Dubov is going to win. And unfortunately, as much as I want to root for America, I have to say that I think Dubov is going to win this match, because I don't think that Shanklin's going to be able to win in classical. You're just picking all the favorites. I'm definitely not. I mean, they're big. Actually, I guess you're right. Hari Krishna technically is the favorite, right? Hari is technically the favorite, even though I don't really think him as the favorite by rating. But I think Dubov is going to beat Shanklin. So then we get to Grebnev versus Esipenko, and this matchup is very hard to judge. And one of the things that's funny is this guy Grebnev. He's a Russian player who's like 15 years old. He's like 15 years old, and he beat Maxime Vachier-Lagrave in the last round. Very impressive performance. He beat Maxime. He beat Cuisance. He beat David Navarre, another great player as well. He is someone that I saw online, or 19 years old. He's someone that I saw online, and he's got like a 3150 blitz rating, I think. Someone can tell me what his username is, but he's like 3150 if I'm not mistaken. So I would say that when I look at this, this is toss up. I have no idea who's going to win this match. Really no idea. My prediction, I'm just going to take a gander here and guess, is I'm going to go with Grebnev, not because I have anything as Esipenko. I think Esipenko is an incredible player and he could win, but I got to pick an underdog somewhere, and I'm going to go with Grebnev in this match, because I think that based on his blitz, I think he's going to pull it off. So we're going to go with Grebnev. And then we have Veilleux versus Sam Sevian. This matchup is really hard to predict. My prediction would be, when I look at this matchup, I don't know what to predict. I really don't know what to predict. I mean, I would say Sevian. I don't know. On one hand, I want to go with Veilleux. Veilleux is just Mr. Rock solid. He's another guy who's very solid. And he just doesn't lose games at all, which in this format is really good. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to predict that the winner of this match is going to be Sam Sevian. I'm going to go with Sevian. I'm going to go with Sam Sevian here. I'm going to predict that Sevian gets the win in this match. That's my prediction. I'm going to go with that just because Sevian just had a brutal match against Lodici that went the distance to Armageddon. I think Sevian is going to win this match. And then of course we get to the barn burner of the match. That's, I mean, simply a toss. You have Levon Aronian versus Arjun Erigaisi. This match, like, personally, I'm rooting for Levon, but much like the reason I'm rooting for Hari Krishna and Lukwang Liam. Levon, still a very strong player, well past his prime, there's no doubt about that, but someone who has always had sort of, he has one of the best classical chess careers in history, but the problem for Levon is in the Canada's tournament, he has always failed. He has never come close to winning the tournament. In the vast majority of them, he's gone into it as the favorite, is either the second or third seed in the tournament. So he's gone into it as a favorite, and by like the second half of the tournament, he's never been in contention to win. So I would say that Levon, I'm really rooting for Levon, just because I see no world where Levon has a chance. I just can't imagine Levon making the candidates in 2 years from now. So I have to root for Levon here. I do think Arjun could definitely beat Levon. I really have no idea what to expect from this match. I think it's going to be a very exciting one. But I'm just gonna root for Levon. So I'm gonna predict that Levon wins this match over Arjun, but either player could win. So then we have the next matchup. We have Sindarov versus Hari Krishna here. I think Sindarov's going to make it in, by the way. I think Sindarov's going to make it in. I'm going to predict that Laquang wins down here. I'm going to predict that this is Duba versus Arjun Levon. I don't know who's going to make it through, but one of these players is going to make it through. I've got no idea who's going to make it through, but I think I would say the best chances right now probably are for Laquang to make it into the candidates in this top bracket. Bottom bracket, very, very rough. Very, very rough here, because you're gonna have like making it into the candidates is gonna be a match between Levon, Arjun most likely, and Dubov. So really, really tough. Really, really tough to judge what's gonna happen. So all right, that's going to do it with our predictions for this round of the World Cup. I don't think Svane's going to beat Sindarov, but I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, but I don't see it happening. Who would I like the most to come out of this? I don't have a personal favorite. I mean, someone good has to make it. I don't know who's going to make it, but somebody has to make it. I don't really have favorites, because honestly, I'm going to tell you guys another thing. I've seen a lot of it. People acting like, Fabiano are favorites or this, that, or the other thing. The candidates is a one-off tournament with 14 games. Anybody can have a great tournament. Decisions are going to be different because it's a winner-take-all situation. So there are going to be a lot of wild things happening, like every event. So I don't really have a personal favorite, but I do think it's crazy how people act like Fabio are the favorites when there are no favorites in the candidates. It's a matter of It's really a matter of, does somebody get red hot, who controls their nerves the best in the final couple of games. Like there is no rhyme or reason to it. So when people say like favorites or who you're hoping to play, like that's just nonsense. Like there are no favorites. Like even if let's say Grebnev makes it somehow. Let's say Grebnev makes it, and like Jose or Hari Krishna make it, or like something like that, like it's still not going to be an easy tournament. And I think that's one of the funny things when I see people make these comments. Like it's not going to change anything who's playing. Like there's so many strong players. Bluebaum cannot make it into the candidates from the World Cup, but he's already qualified from the other event. Now today there were a lot of big results that were important to note. The biggest one that needs to be pointed out here, or there were a couple of huge shocks. But the big shock was Pragnananta losing to Dubov. And this was a huge shock because what it means is now Pragnananta qualifies from the FIDE circuit. He has the most points over the course of this entire year. But this means that two players who are desperately praying for Prag to make the final three in this event are eliminated from contention. And those two players are Norbek Abdusatorov, who lost to Jose in this tournament, and Alireza Firouzja, who skipped the FIDE World Cup because he didn't want to play chess for 1 month straight. So both of those players are eliminated from being able to play in the candidates this time around. I would say on a personal level, I'm a little bit disappointed that Alireza didn't try to qualify from the World Cup, but at the same time, I understand Alireza's take, which is all the tournaments that he's playing in are pretty have big prize funds. He's making a great living from the game of chess. So why do you want to go and suffer for a month playing chess if you don't have to? So Alireza cannot qualify because basically they needed Prag to qualify, because then one or two people could have passed the next person on the list. I don't know who the next person on the list was, but now it's done. I don't believe that anybody can pass Pragnananta. I could be wrong. Maybe there's some weird way that like you finish first and Blitz and Rapid in like the World Rapid or something. But yes, it is basically over. So it is basically over for Alireza and Noterbeck. The two other big upsets that occurred were Esipenko beating Vincent. The dream for Vincent. Vincent has had a great year. Vincent, in my opinion, has probably had the best year of chess. He won the freestyle event in February. His rating has been rising. He's just been a machine throughout the year. He goes down to Esipenko. He is now eliminated from the candidates this time. I have no doubt that Vincent will make the candidates in the future, but he is done for now. So that's Vincent. And then the one that's truly the heartbreaker was was Maxime. This one, Maxime losing to Alexei Grebnev 2.5, 1.5. I am absolutely heartbroken for Maxime. At this point in my career, there are definitely certain types of players, certain players from my generation. You know, I definitely root for them. Of course, obviously not when I'm playing them directly, but that I'm rooting for. And for Maxime, I feel really, really sad for Maxime, because Maxime is someone who, I think he's like 35 now. He's not super young. I felt like this was probably his best chance to qualify for the candidates since the pandemic times, and he loses. I don't really see a world where Maxime will be able to get in 2 years from now. So I am really sad for Maxime, because I don't think he has the time, like say an Ali Reza or Vincent do. Those kids, they both have at least 10 more years to try and make it. So I feel really, really sad for Maxime. You know, he fought so hard to beat Artemiev and then to lose to Grebnev, ending his dream. Really, really, really sad. So, and I would also say on a separate note, when I look at top players from before the pandemic to after the pandemic, if I look at the top players, I think unfortunately Maxime was in a way the biggest loser out of everyone, because if we remember, he played in the Canada's tournament. We can talk about how he got into the Canada's tournament, but he played in the Canada's tournament. He was actually leading, and then the tournament was postponed at the halfway mark. They came back and played a year later. Maxime kind of fell apart. He lost a tough game to Fabiano to start the second half of the event, and he never really recovered. And he's just been sitting between like top 15, top 20 in the world ever since the pandemic. So I do feel really sad for Maxime, because I think that he was someone who probably suffered more from the pandemic than anyone else. Like even people like Levon or others, they've had these big resurgences, they've had these big moments, but it feels like Maxime hasn't had that. As far as Nepo goes, you guys, you can say Nepo fell. Nepo played in 2 world championship matches. He won 2 candidates tournaments. That, I mean, that's like, if you want to say that, you can say that, but like really, that's just being disingenuous. I mean, you don't have to be a fan of Nepo, but trying to say he fell off when he played 2 candidates, when he won 2 candidates tournaments, he played in 2 world championship matches. I mean, his career is about as good as it gets without winning. So, I feel really sad for Maxime, and that's just really unfortunate, you know, what happened. So, all right, you guys, let's move on and let's keep going. Give me a second.